Well, hello there, and welcome to This Is the Day. My name is Sarah Otieno. Indeed, it is a beautiful Friday that the Lord has made, and we're just grateful. Well, we are live on Family TV and also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. You can contact us on 0786 316 316. That is the WhatsApp number. The SMS line is 20316. And you can also reach us on Facebook. That is at Family Radio 316, and we will surely get back to you and get to learn together as we keep Jesus on the airwaves. There's a discussion we were having yesterday. It's about hydrating, the importance of hydrating, and a lot of comments and questions have come in, and due to that, because of course we put you first, next Thursday we are going to continue with the very same discussion. That is next Thursday, the very same time like now. But for today we talk about something else. It is only a few days, 2 days to schools reopening, and everyone is rushing to make sure that they beat the deadline. Back to school is here with us, and parents really rushing all over the country. Well, today in studio we want to talk about some of the things that we do right and we also do wrong when it comes to back to school and how we can change that. And in studio I have Simon Okoth from App Kings Solution. How are you doing?
I'm very fine.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Are you also a last minute person?
No, I'm as a Kenyan, you can't deny it. Yeah.
So we are last minute people.
I don't want to say yes, but it's there.
But you know what, we were talking just before we came on air,
Yeah.
and you were telling me that even in schools, people do things last minute. Exam is tomorrow, and today is when you will see me with my chemistry book. So what really is our problem? Is it even a mistake to do things last minute?
It's not bad. It depends with what you are doing earlier. But generally, as Kenyans, let me talk about Kenyans because Kenya is where I have grown up.
Yes.
Yeah, as Kenyans, mostly we do things last minute, even from school. When you are in campus, you do the assignment a few minutes to class, so that you do it so that you don't have a problem with the lecturer.
But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
And I'll just use your example about doing our assignments last minute.
Yes.
Most of the time when I did that, I failed the questions because I just wanted to fill the blank spaces.
It depends with your situation. People's situations are different.
Okay.
Others fail, others get it right.
All right.
And doing it earlier sometimes does not guarantee
That
the
you will
marks
get
you'll
them.
get at the end of it. Yeah, so that one is relative and it varies. Yes.
All right, let's talk about now the rush hour when it comes to getting back to school. So on Monday,
Yeah.
children are going back to school, and
Yes.
it cuts across from primary all the way to universities.
Yes.
Wote wanarudi shule.
Yes.
And there is something known as January.
Yeah.
Which-
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
So there is a bit that is more important when it comes to school, and that is school fees.
Yes.
So when are we supposed to be putting aside our school fees? Or should we wait until January? That's when we want to make sure that we get all the school fees for all the children.
I believe there are so many factors to consider,
Yeah.
including which school your children are attending. But in terms of preparation of school fees, for the interest of the activities of December, December is a high expense month.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so if based on your school, I think it should be good for a parent to plan things about fees early. In fact, it should be before December. If it's to be the January fees.
Yeah.
But sometimes schools are either rigid or flexible based on your level. It depends whether you are in a government, so public government school,
Or
private school, and how often do they? What are the payment terms? Some can allow you monthly, some can allow you termly, or even yearly.
Yes.
So based on where your children are learning, it's a big factor in that decision. But that decision should not come in January 1st.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
All right.
So
And if I'm getting you right, then you're pointing out that especially Saizi after Christmas,
Yes.
then it's okay to budget for the school fees even before way months before.
Yes, especially based on where and your income.
Okay.
Sometimes there are people in this country whose income does not get scared
Mm-hmm.
with the kind of
Does
fees you are talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, but based on that, it is good that you prepare this before January. Or if your school is flexible enough, then it can be after January. But if as a parent you sit and wait for this time, there has to be some mess.
Okay.
Yes.
And some of those consequences that come because of late preparation, we'll be talking about them later.
Yeah.
But remember to send in your questions, all the questions that you have about back to school, all the comments. And if you feel like you need to interact with us and contribute to this topic, also you can send in your SMS or text to the WhatsApp number 0786 316 316 and through the SMS line 20316. Okay, let's go to shopping.
Yes.
Bwana Simon.
Yes.
Hey, so yesterday we carried a story on radio about how textbook centers and uniform centers are really crowded. Why do we go there at the last minute? Like yesterday was Thursday. It's only 4 days. Why?
You see, again, it comes to the bit of
Your pocket?
your pocket and when this plan came in. I believe, though not very much, but that most of the people who are crowding places like textbook centers are parents of Form 1s. You know, sometimes it becomes tricky to. You can't buy a book that you can't buy what you don't know.
Yes.
And schools require different things. There are schools that require you go with the textbooks. Some schools don't require it.
Yeah, that's
There
true.
are schools you go with the exercise books. Some schools don't require it. So for that class of students or pupils, I believe it becomes tricky for you to plan earlier. But there are continuing students. These ones, you can have whatever they want early when they come. They always come with a list of what they want.
Yeah.
They are quite a number of it is not perishable. So when they come, like nowadays, for this period they come almost in October. Yeah. So the ones that are not perishable, when they tell you early, you can do bit by bit as you wait for the opening day. But there are ones that came with the release of the results.
Yeah.
And then after the release, now you have to wait for the selection so that you know where they selected. And then from then is when you know what they will need. So that one you must flock these places. I don't know why these places are not so many.
Yeah, that's true, by the way.
Yeah.
And I think it's because what the government has actually approved to sell these textbooks. The centers are very few.
So I also don't even feel that it's about the centers. Some I think the ministry should get to know why.
Yeah.
But for that case, it's allowed. Though mostly, generally, with the rush mentality, you still feel like let me go for Christmas first, and then we can come and do 1, 2, 3, and that is what brings the pressure in
congestion.
terms of what we do, even in terms of finance that you now have with the January issue that's cropping in. But the general shopping, actually, relatively, very many schools nowadays discourage carrying of food stuff, ABCD.
Yeah.
That was bringing a lot of pressure internally. You know, sometimes it can intimidate some students if you don't have. And with that kind of regulation, it has at least relieved some burden in terms of the kind of shopping that we do. So I can encourage parents that the major shopping that we do for students can even last a year.
Yeah.
So if we do them, you can even do them in June, and we'll still have just the shoe polish.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that reminds me of when I was in school.
Yes.
You know, it was just satisfying to go to school with a new pair of shoes, you know, at least like a big bag of shopping. But you're pointing out that is not necessarily important.
It depends with where you schooled.
Yeah.
Where you school, you'd arrive. As long as you've arrived, the issue is sorted. Whether you have a bag or you come bare-handed,
Yeah.
The bottom line is that we arrived. And I think it's a bit easier in boys' schools. You know, boys are carefree.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of pressure in girls' schools, I believe so. No, I was a teacher at some point before so you could see the different level of pressure with students. But In those cases, I think even parents should try to regulate how much of stuff you give to students.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if it is not for some level of maturity with the student, it can also become a source of distraction
Yeah, that's
that
true.
interferes with the final output of the student.
Mhm.
Yet the student was in a position of giving some reasonable results.
Mhm.
So from my point of view, that one now depends on how much money one has.
Yeah.
If you don't have, I think you should concentrate on the basics.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So we already have Mercy from Nakuru. Mercy, thank you so much for tuning in today. You're saying you are enjoying the show. May God bless you. Bless you too, Mercy. And thank you for tuning in today. We already we have this other person by the name. You didn't give me your name, but you're saying I love the discussion. Please talk about those who are joining school for the first time. And I believe. He or she is talking about those who are joining maybe class 1, ECD.
I think these ones, there are a lot of things to consider. And
Yeah.
first of all, I think I need to say that there's no rush in taking children to school,
Yeah.
even to play group.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the most important thing is for the parents to be calm.
Mm-hmm.
Because what the parent says has a lot of effect on what the student or the child does.
Mm-hmm.
But for children who are joining class 1 playgroups and the rest, I think the parent just need to relax, identify what you want in the school. You try as much as possible to be comfortable with the school.
Mm-hmm.
And the school should also be comfortable with your pockets,
Okay.
so that you don't overstrain to meet a standard that's not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just look at the right school, look at the right faith and belief of the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't just take your children to school because people say it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have a problem with people going to school on certain days,
Mm-hmm.
Let that shape part of your decision.
Okay.
Yes, because sometimes those are the kind of things that if those beliefs are also in the pupil or the student, they sometimes interfere with the harmony of the school, because the child is also very sure that they will get the support of the parent.
Oh, yes.
So ensure that where you take the child is somewhere you approve of. What you say about the school at home stand out. Sometimes also what you say about other children, your neighbors, who share the same school with your children, because sometimes these children speak things, they hear you speak things, and then they go and discuss in class, and it become a lot of issues.
And especially for the young
Yeah.
kids.
Yes, yeah. So just ensure that you are taking the child to the right school, a school within your level, because school has a lot of things based on which school you are attending. Yeah, you need to talk about tuition fee. Some will come and include other tours. Are you able to cater for those? Are they compulsory?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it is compulsory, what do they talk about you? Yes.
All right.
What places do they visit? Yes, such
And-
kind of things.
And if I'm getting you right, this is some of the factors that we are supposed to consider
Yes.
before we settle on a certain school.
Yeah, especially for just very young children.
Okay.
Yes.
And does this also apply to those who are transferring from one school to another?
Yeah, it does so, because again it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But again, in the transferring, I think you need to look at the reason why you are transferring from one to the other. Yes, sometimes the reason is indiscipline.
Yes.
Yeah, so you need to get some school that may help you shape 1, 2, 3. So it's the reason and the objective. Sometimes the reason is performance. What is the difference in terms of performance between the two schools you are interchanging? Sometimes the reason is distance, and very many other things, including the security of region.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nowadays with the selection, sometimes your child may end up at some random school
Yeah, that's true.
that you feel worried about, and that has a lot of effect, because even for a pupil or a student, if you are in a school that you are sure your parents do not approve, it tend to interfere with your effort, because you can say, after all, even my father is sure that I
Does
can't
not
pass
like
here.
this school.
People don't pass here, and
Yeah.
my father is aware.
So why would I pass?
Why would I even make effort? I am
Yeah.
expected to fail. Yeah, so these are some of the factors we need to put into consideration seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we end up at any new school, be it transfer or a beginner. Yes.
All right, we have someone who is texting in. Hi, I like the discussion. My name is Gladys. Gladys, thank you so much for tuning in today. You're saying, I like the issue of transfer. I was transferring my son lately, and the school actually asked for a recommendation letter from the previous school. That was a good move.
Extremely good. You know, I told you I've been a teacher at some point. Some students are extremely problematic.
Yes.
Yes, and it is not a problem even with the parent. And you know, with the regulation nowadays, you don't discipline, in quotes. You are expected to talk to them, and they hear you and concentrate. But you see, if you talk to our fathers, you will find some of them survive because of fear, not respect. The fear that is created in school. And
Yes.
you see, there is some age that need a lot of personal maturity. Yeah, so as parents, at least sometimes we need to really do a lot of talk, so that our students have an image outside there that we desire. Yes, otherwise, in this case, if you see, this can be a problem based on who your child is.
Yes.
You may find a recommendation there that you don't, even you as a parent, you can't accompany
Yeah.
your documents with
You will
it.
feel ashamed.
Yes, you can't present it anywhere else. Yes,
Okay.
and you see that has an effect. I believe even throughout your education, everybody, if you look at people who are extremely problematic, slightly you find something is not going on very well. So even children should take into consideration that some of these things that may look fashionable at that level have repercussions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you have pointed out that some people actually survive because of fear.
Yes.
It reminded me of time when I was in school. Nakwambia, we were being caned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that actually points out. Someone would say, hey, I am not going to do this because I fear canes.
Yes. I have to now know this, because if I don't do it, I'll
Yes.
be canned.
Yes.
And some of that created some of these people. But I believe it should be regulated. But eradicating it is a bit tricky, because even at home we cane our children. Yeah, if you have children in an environment that you can't instill discipline in them, then they become colleagues. So they decide with you.
They become colleagues.
Yes, they
because
decide
you
with
cannot
you.
instill
Yes,
discipline.
yeah.
Wow. Please make sure you don't have colleagues in your home. You have children. All right. And the Christmas season is just imeisha too. And just 2 days ago, we were celebrating the New Year, you know. And this festive season is still with us. Yeah, despite the fact that we are moving on to now schools. So how am I as a parent going to make sure that transition period from the festives back to school is smooth for my children?
First of all, you have to be calm as a parent.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you relax with your children, and the children, at least, especially the ones from upper primary onwards, already have developed. They already understand the sense of being in school. So you relax yourself and make sure you talk positively with them, so that they don't go to school for you.
Yeah.
They go to school because it is a responsibility. It is their responsibility. It is your responsibility to facilitate their going. But then they get there and assume a bigger responsibility of securing their own future.
Yeah.
So if you talk to them in that direction, they feel a responsibility to do something. And they also should see some encouragement from you. Even if you are a parent who did not go to school, you have to point at, you try sometimes to point some weaknesses that come out with you are not going to school. You have to point out things that you are lacking for having not gone to school. And if you went to school, you have to tell them why how you toiled, why it was a danger. Sometimes sometimes saying that quite a number of Christians go to church because of fear of being burnt. So you can present to them the fear of poverty, of suffering. Yeah, because even for us, when where I come from, the sugarcane. So you look at it, you say, if I don't succeed here, I'm destined to be a sugarcane cutter. And I want to be I want to slightly
office.
Be above that.
Yes.
Yeah. So you use that fear to propel you up. So you don't look at other things like lack of fees. You don't look at other things like I don't have blue band when people are smearing their bread. Yeah, you don't have things like there is meals in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, and go and eat it because these schools have it, and it is enough to sustain your life. If it is not enough, there are other authorities that will come in and ensure it's enough. So encourage your children, but talk well about school and talk well about the school they are in.
Okay.
Yes.
And this really comes in handy because we must not assume the fact that their children, when it comes to opening day, this is a time of torture. Like they're feeling, hey, I am going back to that school.
Yeah. It's there. Even those days, music are so nice when you are about to go to school. You listen to very nice programs, even on TV and radio. But you see, if you yearn to own your radio, because the radio there you are listening to is not yours. So you have to develop an urge as pupils or as students. Develop your own urge to learn. There is more into school beyond even putting money into your pocket. When you reason, where you talk to people, the things tend to have some level of decorum. So we as parents, we try to create comfortability. Also, we don't put our children into awkward situations. Ensure that most of things that may embarrass them in the process of their learning remain sorted, especially the ones that come from your side. Yes, because that bit is there. But and you also other things, including the meals. From home
You've eaten a lot of sausages.
Yes, people have been enjoying life. It is festive for that matter. And you go direct to some very weird githeri.
They call it nyoyo.
Yes, that one that has some traces of paraffin. I don't know how, but where I learned it used to be so.
Yes.
So you see, it becomes tricky just before leaving home, but you go there 1-2 days, you are into the system and things are fine. And you tell them that even as parents, we went through it. It is not harmful, it will not kill you, it is for a period. Just go through it. You will have your own githeri well prepared.
All right.
Yes.
And we have I am watching from America. Oh, thank you so very much for texting in, but you did not leave me your name. Please, kindly, just let me know who you are. And thank you so much again. And you're saying the issue about escorting our children, especially in Kenya, escorting our children to school, is it right? And that was actually leading me to the next question.
I believe it's right.
Yeah.
It's very right. Because sometimes stages of children is funny. You take pride in very funny things. You take pride in arriving late. Small things that some people sometimes used to do in school. So especially with the girls, if there is an opportunity to escort them, I believe you can. Please just escort them, to avoid very many other things of I wish I know. But it's not a must. When you can't, and it's not a requirement of the particular school, you can let them go. But let them understand the importance of whatever they are doing. That's the bottom line. Just to ensure that you take care of other avoidable circumstances.
And for their security purposes.
Especially girls. Men survive. And And the most fueling thing with the boys is money. And at that level, most of them don't have it. So if you leave them to go, they even have nowhere to go apart from school.
Yeah.
Majority of them
Oh, really?
would just go.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
just for exceptional cases that may bring that may branch one A, B, C, D. But majority of them will just go. Yes.
But we can also not assume the fact that sometimes when our parents visit our schools, it also helps to keep them up to speed with our performances and to interact with the teachers.
I believe it's extremely important. Actually, I think the parents should even get to a level of even knowing the class prefect.
Oh,
You may
really?
be talking about different people.
Wait,
Your child may be someone else in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there are parents who have gone to school for cases that they don't even believe those are their children.
Wait, let me ask you a question that
Yes.
maybe a student would ask.
Yes.
The same prefect who will write me as a noisemaker.
Yes.
You want them to know my mother?
Yeah, occasionally you can talk to them and ask them directly, how do you view so and so in class? And they'll give you, in most cases, they'll give you a very honest opinion.
Really?
That this is a chronic noisemaker.
And that is what most people don't want their parents to find out. How notorious
yeah, you
they
see, especially here in Nairobi, parents claim to be so busy, myself included. So you dedicate some 1 hour for even for official visit of the school when we are discussing marks. Dedicate less than an hour. You want to appear there technically, sign what should be signed and go away. You don't know anything to do with the student. There are some other things that we should know, and as parents we should be. I think parents should visit schools even when they are not invited.
Okay.
Occasionally walk in. Here, even what is going on generally that does not even concern your children. Yeah, it is very important so that you don't get shocked at a lot of other things. But just for your own sake, so that you take corrective measures early, the parent should be as close as possible with the class teacher and other stakeholders within the schools who directly interact with students.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have this is Mercy Koech from Nakuru. What is your take on giving bribes for Form 1 positions? It's happening in our country. People are buying positions
So that they
they
the
join the school
or-
for Form 1.
Now that should just be addressed by Wabukala, but
Yes.
I believe that's extremely weird, and I will seriously discourage anybody, even the taker of the bribe,
Yeah.
because it now negates the whole rationale of that selection bit itself. But you see, people sometimes act so desperate on things that are obvious. Go and if your child got the marks, they'll get the school.
Yes.
Not all children will go to Alliance. Not all children will come to Kenya High. People have to go somewhere. So if with the marks the child got, let them go to school. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is very much okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let
You
them
don't have
go.
to give bribes.
Don't die for a specific school. Yes, pay fees. Encourage your child to work hard. Yes.
All right.
There are schools in at the bottom levels of this country that have produced people.
That's true.
So, and there are also people who have come empty-handed from these mighty schools. Just do your bit. Encourage your child to work hard. They will get the school that befits them.
That they deserve.
Yes, and
Alright.
they'll just do their best. Yes.
Okay, continue sending in your questions, that is, and any comments that you have about back to school issues, anything, and we'll surely be answering that together with Simon. We are live on Family TV and also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. Thank you so much for joining. This is the day, this beautiful evening, and we are talking about back to school. So many issues are coming up about maneno ya examination. Others are talking about back to school rush, and it's true, it's happening, especially in our country right now, considering that we only have 2 days to schools reopening. And I still have Simon Okoth from Up King Solution in studio. Simon,
Yes.
before we even continue, why did we have weevils in our githeri? Wait, did you even have weevils in your githeri?
It depends with where you school. Where I schooled, there was.
Hata mimi.
Yes, so you see, those schools, they had to buy in bulk when the price is fairly manageable. It is stored, and now that it has been bought, you have to eat it.
That explains.
Yeah, so you find you were in December clearing maize that was bought in January. It must have weevils.
What?
Yes, because again they also don't want to
waste it.
Or preserve it with funny chemicals that may complicate the thing altogether.
Yeah.
So you are better off with weevils than
with chemicals.
Hey,
now I understand why we were eating weevils.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving forward, there's someone who's saying, "Hi Sarah, thank you so much for the discussion. It's really timely. Please say hi to the guest. I interacted with him somewhere." They didn't give their name, but hi Simon.
Hi Sarah.
All right. We also have another person who is saying, "Hi, thank you so much for the discussion. Please address the issue of children not wanting to interact with books while their time to go back to school approaches." And I'm thinking maybe the issue of revision, especially when schools are approaching, school time is approaching.
I believe, nowadays the holidays, apart from the December holidays, the rest are very short.
Yeah.
And I think we can encourage our children to be revising maybe when they come from school, when the morale is still high. Yes, but towards the festive end of December, allow them relax. Also the situation at home. You see, you don't have people slaughtering a goat behind the house and you expect a child to close themselves in some room and read.
Yes.
What are they reading? You see, and in those cases, most of it should be extremely voluntary from the pupil. Otherwise, they will sit in that room because you want, look at a single line of line statement in the book the whole day. Yeah, so just encourage them to do the bit they do, but also let them relax. It is holiday. It is necessary. It is recommended that they relax. Yeah. So just let encourage. For those who can, well and good, let them do it.
Okay.
But if your child is having a problem with it, just encourage it. Don't make it a rule in the house that they must sit in some corner and they read.
Yeah.
They will do it in your presence and leave it with you.
But what about there's some schools that have examination when you open schools. So what is the appropriate time for these kids to study for this exam? And are these exams even, are they supposed to be there?
Personally, the presence of that exam beats the logic of the holiday.
Okay.
And if it was me to decide, we would have exams at least 2 weeks into the term. 2 or 3 weeks. Give the student time to prepare in school. You don't know the conditions of home. Some people come from very dilapidated homes.
Okay.
Some come from very many other things. When they get home, they get to other issues, including domestic violence. Yes, you get there, they got there, there was a disagreement. The mother is not at home. ABC. So there are several other factors that may affect what is in the mind of the student when they arrive from home. So give them time to settle in school, tune their thinking into school for them to be able to do an exam. Otherwise, I think generally, I've not asked much, but if you check, I think if you ask teachers, they'll tell you very many students fail that exam. Yes, let students get to school first, settle in school, give them some 1 to 2 weeks to revise, and then they can have an exam. It's imperative to be so.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you also say that this examination,
Yes.
or rather just the examination aside, the relationship that the teachers and the pupils build when the schools reopen,
Yes.
can you say it's important to determine how that child is going to perform throughout the term, or even how they're going to survive in school throughout the term?
Yes, it is very important. It's extremely important. You know, sometimes, let me give you a scenario. I was a teacher.
Yes.
I was a UT, an untrained teacher between high school and campus. and we had some big students. So there is a day he arrived very late, and I was mad at him. I called him, "What is it?" But he was bigger than me, both in age and size.
Yes.
And I asked him, "How can you arrive at this one?" And he said, "You see, Mwalimu, my wife gave birth yesterday."
Okay.
And in my pocket that day I had 500 bob. I gave him the 500 bob. I told him, "Go back home until you sort that bit of the problem, that issue." So sometimes there has to be teachers may not ask because maybe of the large number of students, or we stereotype them and we group them together and say that students behave funnily. But individually, sometimes when you bring them close, you may get something very, very touching from them.
Okay.
So sometimes you try to understand them. Yes. So there has to be a lot of relationship, especially the class teacher.
Okay.
I should really try to understand when things have changed for a student, because when they are disturbed, you should create enough interpersonal relationship with them that you can understand when they have a problem. Yes.
So if I'm getting you right, it's the duty of both the student and the teacher to make sure that relationship is there.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. And we have another person. Your name is George. George Asante Sana. You're listening in from Kisumu. Thank you so much for tuning in today. You're saying the issue of parents knowing more about their children from the class teacher and the prefect is also good. I encourage also knowing the school gardener. And we were just talking about that off air when we say that you should also know the people who surround your children.
Yes.
So it helps.
Yeah, there are people who will give you a lot of unclassified information, but extremely true. You see, that information that even the teachers feel that this one we shouldn't tell you as a parent, you can get it from these other people.
Okay.
Because they try to sometimes, for the interest of the student, they can hide some 1, 2, 3 from you, or they can also tell you things that are not true.
Yeah.
Sometimes it becomes malicious. Yeah. So when you try to interact with some other people who are not formally responsible to inform you, in most cases you get more and more accurate information.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Alafu someone else is saying, Jared Asante Sana, you're saying, hey, talk about your story. Weevils, I ate a lot of them. You see, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
We ate a lot of
if you
weevils.
learned in these schools that are outside Nairobi, like myself, you must have met them.
Weevils.
Yes.
Lots of them.
Yes.
But he's actually going forward to say, but some of those weevils shaped us. We are who we are today because of the weevils that we ate, and that aside, also the strictness of our teachers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good sometimes
it's
to be
good.
strict.
Yeah, pupils, students, people of that age.
Yeah.
The level of reasoning to the point of the objective of their being there might not be very clear. And you see, that is when someone can sit down and say, I have an uncle who is a driver and he has a car every day. And you look at that life and you say, that is the life. He's just enjoying his life. But you see, deep down into what he's doing, you don't know the nitty-gritties. You look at life at superficial level. You think 100 bob 1,000 is a lot of money.
No, it's not.
But when you get to be a parent, it is not money. When you have 1,000 bob, everyone should know that you don't have it. You don't have money that day. Yet you have more than 1,000 bob.
Yeah.
Yet to them, if you put that money into their pocket, it looks like they have some good money. So that some of that objectivity in terms of their reasoning is what I was saying earlier, comes as a result of fear.
Okay.
Yes. Now I have to pass, because if I don't pass, things are going to be hot somewhere else.
After school life.
Yes.
All right. And I liked the fact that you pointed that out, because we have children who actually take school to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
And where is the problem here? Why is it that my child actually fears going to school? Could the problem be with the parents?
The problem may be either school or parents or both.
Or the student?
Yes,
Okay.
because sometimes you find a case where at home there is no... home is smooth. they operate like chicken. You open the door in the morning, you know, from the village where I come from. There is no one who is responsible for taking care of chicken. What you do is to open the door, they go away and look for food. The best you can do is to sweep where they slept.
Yes.
Then in the evening, they come back and sleep. So some homes are like that. You find children are just there. You open the door in the morning and they come back to sleep in the evening. So sometimes when there is some discipline in the process of school, it looks tough.
Okay.
Or sometimes they are just problematic and discipline has to be administered. And now that clash, coupled with the adolescence and all these things, may end up into a student running away from school because of the presence of peers.
Yeah.
And so that they come home and even if they are beaten by their father, he's not beaten in front of people who he wants to show his might.
Some muscles, eh?
Yes.
I'm this big person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those cases exist. But mostly if as a parent you have a talk with them, I believe they'll just be in line. But parents also must develop a culture of talking closely with the teachers, especially in cases where you know your child is in discipline.
Yeah.
You need to talk to teachers first, so that when there is a problem, they help you correct it instead of rushing to punish the student.
Okay.
No, there is a bit of punishing the student that may even end up punishing the parent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Extreme
Yes. So if a child is indisciplined and the case is already even known to school, everyone focuses their effort towards helping the child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
They don't even see the essence of suspending them. They say, now why do you suspend them? To a parent who has been here complaining of the same thing? It beats the logic. Yeah.
All right. You're saying you're tuned in. You didn't give me your name, but you're saying you're tuned in. I love the discussion this evening on school issues. I do agree that when I was in high school, we ate githeri with weevils. And paraffin being placed with coffee. Tena coffee. Also, it's important for a parent to know how his child is performing while in school. That is from Remy from Tena Estate. Thank you so much and Happy New Year to you. Good evening. She's actually pointing out what we've just said, knowing the performance of your children. And if I was getting you right, the key important and basic thing here is making sure that there is good communication.
Yes. Be in charge of that information. Know your child at school, because the child at school and the child at home may be two completely different people.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Before we finish this show, please just take a minute and talk to parents and pupils and even teachers on how they can make this transition period actually smooth for all the three parties. Maybe your camera is that one?
Okay. First of all, I believe let the pupil or the student know that they have a responsibility to go to school.
Yeah.
They are not going to school because you want them to go to school. They are going to school to secure their own future.
Okay.
And you can point out at several examples, unlimited, of success with going to school. You must also let them understand that they are going to school to gain knowledge first, so that you don't only subject them to success in form of money. Yes, because they will point at you, someone who went to school is struggling, or someone who didn't go to school and is looking fine in terms of finance. So you have to let them know that that success is not only financial.
Yeah.
That success has several other aspects, including what you say in front of people. Yes, so have a chat with your children. From younger classes, pre-unit, those ones, just ensure you as a person you are comfortable, and you encourage them, and they have to be at a level that is enough to go to school. There is no emergency over school, and there is even no much difference between these play groups and the home. Yes, so you just let them enjoy it. so that when they get to a time of going to meaningful school, they are not bored or out of psych in terms of what they want to do in school. Let your children enjoy going to school. The ones who are in high school, always maintain the importance of having a good performance.
Okay.
Yes, even if you yourself you didn't to get it, always encourage them to get the right performance, because that has a lot. At least at that age, their eyes are more open. In campus, those are adults.
Yes.
If they want to get lost, it becomes very unfortunate. But always encourage them that now they have a responsibility, because those are adults with their own ideas. Yes, they carry the responsibility of you as a parent. Now they fully represent you there. And sometimes there is some negative peer pressure that may crop in, but let's just encourage them to do their best.
Okay.
At that level, it becomes very difficult sometimes if you want to discipline them directly.
You cannot cane them.
Yes, you do it more with a talk.
Okay.
Have a sit-in with them. If they come back with a weird hairstyle and you are not my dad, my dad would react differently.
Yeah.
My dad is a strict disciplinarian. Yes, but have a chat with them.
Okay.
Tell them why they have to remain decent. Yes.
Asante sana.
Yes.
And for all those who are going back to school, especially the pupils, those who are going back to colleges, we just wish you all the best as you start a new year, a new term, of course. And it cuts across even to those in the pre-unit, the primary schools, and even the secondary schools. All the best, and we wish that 2020 is going to be a better year when it even comes to your performances. Thank you so much, Simon, for coming today. It was really a learning experience.
Thank you.
And for the parents, I know you have noted down 1, 2, 3. Thank you for tuning in today. Have yourself a beautiful evening. My name is Sarah Otieno, and I will see you tomorrow.